It's the rabbits that created all this. My whole property is permacultured, but it relied 100% on rabbit manure. When I had trees that kept dying, when I had plants that were dying in the ground, putting rabbit manure on them saved everything. Or having rabbit manure tea, where when I didn't have enough rabbit manure, I would dilute rabbit manure into water and then water with that manure tea, and it saved things. And so the rabbits are a really, really important part of our permaculture and our homestead.
Hi.
What is our mystery project?
I don't know.
We're gonna try and see if we can get all those big baby rabbits out of that one cage.
Oh.
Do you think they'll appreciate it?
Yeah. Yeah, when you keep things a secret, I don't know what you're talking about, and I can't think for you.
Okay, so come this way and I'll show you what we're gonna do. All right, guys, so these are our hotbeds. Today I wanted to show a new experiment I've been running to turn the hotbeds from just a garden bed that we put the cages for the rabbits on top of to fertilize, instead into more of a cage-free system for the rabbits. These are so nice and big. If I can find a way to put the rabbits in a way that they can't escape and predators can't get to them, I feel like I just have it made. So we're going to show you how we do that. Paige is here to help so that if we have a rabbit escape, we can...
I'm the rabbit catcher.
You're the rabbit catcher. We can track it down. We're using magic squares, needle nose pliers, hog rings, old hog rings that I've taken off of other projects, and hog ring pliers. Hog ring. I don't like the rabbit clip type of hog rings because you can't remove them and reuse them. So I'm going to try and do this one-handed. We'll see if I've been doing it enough years that I can actually do it one-handed. So these squares are not my favorite. They're much larger, you see? Little squares, big squares. I don't like the big squares. However, I still have some from the first ones I bought 20 years ago. So I'm going to use them on the top of the cage instead of on the sides. Does that make sense? This is going to flip over the top once I have it on. So they are easy enough to do one-handed while holding a cell phone.
Do you want me to do it?
Here, you come do the hog rings and I'll hold the camera. We always go 2 in. 1, 2. 1, 2. Otherwise, if you try to attach it here on corners, it shifts away from the other piece. So 2 in. All right. Did you squeeze it as tight as you could?
Yeah.
All right. So now what we're going to do is flip them over the top, and you can see how it creates a lid. We're going to continue with that all the way down. And that way, if we have a raccoon, the raccoon can't get in. All right, so as you can see, I have this separator here, like that. The reason I have it here is actually not to separate the rabbits from each other. It's instead to hold the middle part of the cage. If I was to run the magic squares all the way along here, all the way down, it's a very long expanse, and it would collapse in the cage. So by having this divider here, this middle piece will hold the middle of the roof up. How they do. I want to be out here making the cage while they're in it for the first time, just so I can see how escapey they are going to be. You ready? Okay, so which side are you putting males in? Which side are you putting females in?
Trying to think. Probably females on the right and males on the left.
Okay. So,
ow, they hurt. Boy.
okay, so what do I have in here for them to eat? I have celery, comfrey. No, not comfrey. I have celery, chamomile, tatsoi, some kind of cabbage. And then these are Lucino. Those are Lucino kale. So she will be on this side. Oh, she's cute. She's a brown one. Do you want me to try and lay this down so you don't have to reach over so high? I undo this. and then it lays down like that. So this whole thing can be opened from any side. When it's time to catch baby bunnies, every side can drop.
Use that energy to go in.
Do you like that, how it folds down?
Yeah. Ow.
Crazy. You got so much space, it's crazy. Is that the last one?
Yeah.
Ta-da! What do you think? Pretty easy?
It's pretty nice.
Nice.
They're happy.
They're happy.
And I got scratched pretty good.
Sorry, show them.
And up here and on my hand, right next to
sorry.
another cut I have. Freedom!
Freedom! Freedom is a really nice cabbage leaf, huh? And pop. It should just pop right out and you can hand it to me. And then I'll take
those roots.
this one and you take the other one. Pop.
Oh, there's 3.
Okay, hand me. Careful. 1, 2, 3.
This one was hard to pull out.
All right, you got them? Okay, do them in the little greenhouse, okay?
All right.
So the key to what I do is that I go to the point where it works and then I stop. I don't try to over-engineer it. I wait to see if it's going to work, and then if it didn't work, then I continue to engineer it. But this is working. If for the next hour while I'm working on getting a cover on the top of it, they escape or something goes wrong, I know about it because I'm out here. But if they don't escape, it might work forever, just this simply. So I'm going to leave it this way until I know different. These bunnies are already used to having greens, lots and lots of greens. So I'm not taking babies that have only been on pellets and then putting them on greens. Okay, put them. So these guys, what they eat is hay, a little bit of wheat, and a little bit of sunflower seeds. They don't actually eat pellets, and that's why I can afford to keep so many, is because it doesn't cost me very much to feed them. So we're going to need to set up a hay system and water. And for right now, what we're going to do is these containers that we have had for a long time, the lids broke. We're going to put them in here upside down for shelter for the babies until they figured out we want to make it really, really obvious. So turn it the other way so the triangle is heading backwards, and so that it's more like a ramp, and pull it forward so that it's pretty high.
Okay, then we're going to want to turn it this way so that rain isn't coming in.
Okay, yeah, we just want to make it so it's really obvious that's their shelter. It's not supposed to rain for a little bit.
Yeah.
But even that doesn't make me super happy. I think we need a log on the other side because...
Yeah. We can take that log too.
Go get 2 more logs since we have 2 shelters, okay? So that is rabbit manure at the bottom that you see, where they have gone in and hopped in and pooped on their food, and then we put more food in and the kids don't dump it out, and then they poop on it some more. So we don't want that. Even though these work great, we don't want them to do that. What we need to do is raise this up a little higher so that they can't jump into it. All right, I have twist ties, one on the side, 2 on the back. This is my most secure spot because it's a corner. And I need it to stay up high so that they don't try to poop in it again. So the girls will be able to just lift the lid, put the hay in, and then these guys can eat through, see the holes? They can eat through these holes. There won't be so much waste. This is an example of one that has stayed pretty clean. It's because there's not as many rabbits in here. They do jump up and they do poop in it, but it stays dry. So we're going to take this big one and we're going to go put it in that new pen. And we'll give these guys a smaller one and lift it up so they can't jump into it. When keeping animals in cages, the hostile hair cages are my favorite because they're super secure, they're easy to clean, they're just super nice. Anything I've made by myself, the wire just hasn't been up to par and it has fallen apart and I've had to repair it and repair it and repair it, but not so with the hostile hair. So again, I'm going to take this one out and we're going to put a smaller one in there for them. See if we can stealth attack them. As long as they can figure out to go up to the side to pull it out? No, leave it. Leave it.
Well, for the mom.
Oh, okay. I think once they have more of the greenery eaten down, they'll figure out the hay in here. We'll have to wait and see. At this point, I know they won't starve while we're trying to figure out whether or not they can reach it easily enough. But overnight, with this much stuff in there, they're going to be fine. You can see I put this one in just a little bit shorter, a little bit lower. I want to see if they can reach it better. Also, it's tilted down. Instead of having 1, 2, 3 ties on it, I just have these 2 on this side, so that instead of the other end being held up, it's kind of tipped down. And that will be my experiment to see if can they get to the hay easier on this side, but still not jump into it. I don't know what the answer is to that. So we're just going to put some hay in it and see what they do. All right, these are our galvanized metal containers for water. In this instance, we have so many rabbits, we're using a bigger container for water. I know that doesn't look bigger, but it is. And these are going to be our sunflower seed wheat mix holders for these guys to make sure they can get enough.
Oh yeah, we're out of wheat, by the way.
Okay, glad to know it. So Paige is going to attach these to the inside of the cage, but really low to the ground, not like the hay. The hay feels too much like bedtime for them, and they want to cuddle in it.
And
whereas
then they go to the bathroom.
And then they go to the bathroom in it. But these guys, they don't poop in them. Okay.
So it has these really nice tabs that you can just set
Lower down.
over.
There you go. That's perfect.
Oh, that's gonna be so fun.
Easier,
Yeah,
huh? Okay, lift it up so you can reattach it. Good job.
Aren't you worried about cats?
Well, I had to put the
There's
roof
gonna
on
be a
too.
roof. Okay. Good idea. Okay. There will be hands.
What are you doing?
Hi, kitty.
What are you doing? All right, let's do it on this side too, right next to their water. That's their water, in case you couldn't see it. Pull it towards you so that it doesn't fall on them. We want to make sure they're not afraid of their cage.
Hi, pretty girl. Look, I like top toy.
Okay, go ahead and clip it. Yeah, leave it on the outside until I have some more put on. Good job. All right, bunnies have been in here for 2 or 3 hours now. They have found their sunflower seeds and wheat. They have found their water. They're still working on all the greenery. They have found their hay. I've changed it so there's only 2 doors on each side. So there's a door that hinges here. There's a door that hinges here, and the reason the hinges are there is so we can get in to give them new food. I'm not concerned about catching the babies right now or in the near future. I just want to be able to get food and water into them. The baby did jump up into this first thing, and so we lifted it up a little bit. You can see that baby's under it, feeling a little stressed and a little warm. The interesting thing will be if this keeps them as cool as a wire cage does in the summer. I don't know if it will. It is underneath the crabapple, the pear, the honey locust, and the apple. All of those trees surround this space, but I don't know, since the airflow isn't coming up from underneath them, I don't know if it will keep them as cool as a wire bottom cage. So now we can open this to the side, get in and change food and water, and then just close it back up. So you see it does sag a little bit in the middle. That's quite an expanse to have these guys across, but it is still self-supporting. All right, there we go. Their little cage is all set up for comfort and security. They can't get parasites in this cage because there's no other animal material in it. It's always been covered so the cats couldn't get in and poop in it. So no parasites, no predators, no escaping. And I think it will work. I think it gives them something like a little terrarium to play in. I am working on 2 other options right now to see which one they like best. One of them is an Avituven rabbit slash chicken run that is movable, that can be on the ground, so we'll see how that works too. And in the winter, what we can do is put PVC over the top and then put plastic over the top of that and turn this into a little bit of a greenhouse for them if we choose to. But if this works, we can move the rabbits from bed to bed to bed in the whole property and let them pee and poop and make everything super nice and rich in the garden beds without having to have them on wire or in any other kind of more confined cage. I'm not willing to move them to other spots now when it's hot because they need the shade. They really need the shade, especially where now the bottom is closed in and they don't have the air coming up from the bottom. So this is how they were set up, is on something like this, and the air comes up from the bottom and cools them. Each cage has its own covers and it stays really open and really cool. I know a lot of people don't like wire cages, but in the summer this works really well to keep them from overheating. So we'll see how the babies do. For those of you who are interested in the magic squares, I have them in my Amazon store. And for those of you who are interested in these raised beds that we grow food in, I have them on my Etsy channel. No, I have them on my Etsy store as little PDFs. I think they cost like somewhere between $3 and $7 for the PDFs. And I also have a huge playlist on how to make these. So if you don't want to buy the PDF, you don't have to. Just go watch the playlist. Thanks for all your support. And thanks for my patrons. Thanks for my patrons. You are the ones who funded all this. The money that you give me, I make about $165 a month on Patreon, and it allows me to buy supplies for these kind of projects. So thank you very much if you're over there on my Patreon account, and we'll talk to you later. There's a saying that a parent is only as happy as their saddest child. Well, on a homestead that goes the same way. Your homestead is only as successful and happy as your most unhappy animal, your most uncomfortable animal. And we have tried really hard to remove all of our animals from cages, but the rabbits have really escaped us up to this point. No pun intended. This I hope works, but I also am trying to work on one that is on the ground, and I'm just trying to find multiple options, and we're trying to see which one makes them the happiest.